My mother left us to work in the adult industry. Now she's reaching out, posting here because my therapist said it would be nice to get off my chest. My dad, 68 male, used to travel a lot for work, staying away for weeks at a time. He and my mother had an open marriage arrangement, though she was the only one who took advantage of it. Throughout most of my childhood, I remember her leaving at night to go to clubs, parties, sometimes staying away for days, and neglecting me and my brother. I learned how to get groceries and cook when I was 8, so my brother wouldn't starve. When I was around 13, my parents started fighting. Apparently, she had broken their deal somehow. My dad discovered the neglect, and she had started working in the adult industry. They separated for years, and I had no contact with my mother. I sent her texts, emails that showed as read, but she never replied. Eventually, I gave up trying to contact her. I managed to stay in touch with some people from her side of the family, but many of them began turning against us. They said we were too harsh on her, that we never supported her, that she was right to leave us. Gradually, I cut contact with them as well. She became pretty famous in the adult industry in my country and made a lot of money. I stopped using any NSFW websites since she appeared on the top pages of all of them. Fortunately, I suffered almost no bullying in high school because there was no way of connecting her to me. Most of my friends who had known my mother didn't recognize her after she dyed her hair and had surgeries. I moved on with my life, joined the army, and I'm doing pretty well now. However, a year ago, out of nowhere, she found me on social media and began messaging me. She asked how I was, commented on how I'd grown up so much, and tried to make small talk. I replied with one-word answers and eventually stopped responding when my nerves got the better of me. Apparently, she had retired, and after feeling what she called overwhelming remorse throughout her life, she decided to contact us again. My brother was cautious, but essentially accepted her back since he had always been closer to her. My father remains cordial, but nothing more. She also enlisted her entire side of the family to help. I was bombarded with messages and calls from both sides who had previously criticized and supported me and my dad. They all insisted she was remorseful, that she had made a huge mistake, but wanted to make it right, that she had come back for us. And I made it clear that I wanted nothing to do with her, but they persisted. More recently, she somehow found out where I live and began leaving random gifts at my doorstep with messages that were clearly from her. Things like a basket of chocolates I liked when I was little, expensive clothes, she got my size wrong on all of them, flowers when my cat passed away, and even a very expensive hiking kit. I messaged her several times saying I didn't want any of that, but she either pretended not to know what I was talking about or said she thought of me in that moment. I made it clear repeatedly that I wanted nothing to do with her, but she persisted, saying she could be my mom again now. I don't know what else to say, so advice would be more than welcome. We have some relevant comments. Pixie on Access says, you are under no obligation to allow her back in your life. Block her and her family and dump all the gifts she gives you. Stop entertaining her attention. If she will not stop, I'd honestly recommend going the legal route. Get a cease and desist letter sent out to her and her family, and if it doesn't stop, go to the police to get her pesterment on file so it'll be easier to file a police report / restraining order in the future. Opie says, I've donated or sent back all of the gifts already. Unfortunately, cease and desist letters are not a thing in my country, but I am really thinking about filing a police report for pesterment. Just don't know if they will accept since she never did it personally. I decided to take the moral high ground with a polite approach. I called her and asked her to meet at a small cafe since there was no way I was meeting her privately. She arrived looking like she had won the lottery, with a smile from ear to ear, almost jumping up and down. Her smile faded when she saw my face. She sat down and tried to make small talk, but I cut her off with all the calm and patience I could gather. I told her that no matter what she did or said, there would be no way for her to be my mom again. I explained that she was a complete stranger to me now, that I still had resentments, and reminded her that I tried many times to stay in contact, but she had refused. I even stated that I was almost 30 now, so I didn't really need a mom anymore. Before I could finish speaking, she burst into tears and began rambling about how sorry she was. She apologized for not seeing me grow up, for ignoring me, and said she could do anything for a second chance. She even offered to have all of her old work taken down and pay for therapy if I wanted. Apparently, she didn't know I'd been in therapy since I was a teenager. I politely refused, and since the conversation wasn't likely to progress, I left after asking her once more to not contact me again. A couple hours later, while I was in the shower, my phone exploded with calls and messages. She had apparently told her family again, and once again, they were either cursing or trying to convince me. That showed me that some of the more direct advice from my previous post was right, so I decided to follow it. I changed my phone number, cleaned my social media of any family members from her side, and told my lawyer to proceed with the restraining order. She received an order a couple of days ago and immediately broke it by driving straight to my house to scream about what I was doing. I didn't come out and call the cops. Thankfully, they saw the restraining order and took her to the station for questioning. I'm not sure if what I did was completely right, but at least I had some peace in these last few days. She's still trying to send gifts, but I'm going legal on that too. We have a second update. My mother is now legally fighting the restraining order, and I'm trying to get an additional restraining orders for the extreme members of her family. My lawyer advised caution because requesting too many orders at once could make me look unreasonable and result in a lot of them being denied. She hasn't broken the restraining order again since that incident, but the gifts have continued and even intensified. I'm donating all of them. Although my childhood was difficult, I can say the amount of chocolate she has sent me is making a lot of kids really happy right now. I'll say it. I'm not revealing her name. Anyone sending messages like that will be blocked. So this is a third update real quick. This is 3.5 years later. My mom has been pushing the limit, but at least with the restraining order, she was keeping away mostly. There were few incidents, like when she showed up at my dad's house during a family dinner and my dad's girlfriend at the time, now wife, opened the door. She also showed up at my job asking for me, and one of my friends on guard duty scared her off. Life wasn't going well in other areas either. I kept being passed over for promotions. My requests for officer school were always denied, and then my girlfriend at the time cheated on me and dumped me. Years went by, and when I finally thought I would get a promotion, I got dismissed from the army along with many others. Sudden unemployment, I had to move back in with my dad while I figured out what to do with my life. The restraining order against my mom also expired, so she came back with renewed energy, which didn't help the situation at all. I'm still figuring things out, but I'm determined to maintain my boundaries regardless of what anyone else thinks I should do. Wow.